All right, today we are diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's really not. We're talking about manufacturing the very heart of our technology in space. Let's get into it.
I mean, really think about that for a second. The tiny silicone brains inside absolutely everything, our phones, AI data centers, you name it. What if the next huge leap in their performance couldn't actually happen on Earth? It's a wild question, but believe it or not, the answer is already taking shape.
And this is not just a theory. Right now, on the International Space Station, the groundwork is being laid for a whole new kind of manufacturing. And we're not talking about floating assembly lines. It's something way more fundamental than that.
Okay, so how would this even work? I mean, who's actually trying to do this, and what exactly are they trying to build up there?
Well, it all starts with a pretty powerful pitch.
You've got companies like Axiom Space literally going to the biggest tech hubs in the world and saying, hey, the unique conditions up in space, the microgravity, the perfect vacuum, we can use that to create materials that are just far superior to anything we could ever make down here. It's a really bold claim, but it's actually backed by some seriously cool science.
To really get why anyone would go to all this trouble, we first have to understand the basic problem they're trying to solve. And that problem is gravity itself. See, every single computer chip starts its life as a piece of a big, perfectly ordered crystal, usually made of silicon. Think of it like the foundation of a house. The more pure and perfect that foundation is, the better the final chip is going to be. Simple as that.
But here on Earth, there's a problem. As these super delicate crystals are forming, gravity is always pulling on them. It messes things up. It creates these little currents in the molten material and puts stress on the structure as it cools, leading to tiny, tiny flaws. And those little imperfections, they're what hold our chips back from being even faster and more efficient.
And this right here is where space becomes the hero of the story. By just moving this whole process into the microgravity of low Earth orbit, you can basically just switch off gravity's annoying side effects. And wow, this slide really shows you everything you need to know. Just look at the difference. On the left, that's a crystal grown in space. See how clean and uniform it is? And on the right, that's what happens when it's grown while touching a container, showing all the defects from gravity and just contact. The difference is, it's night and day.
This image really spells out why it works so well. Up in space, the crystal has way less stress on it while it's forming. That means you get fewer of those structural flaws. They call them dislocations. But here's the kicker. It also means it doesn't have to touch the walls of a container, which prevents it from sticking and, more importantly, getting contaminated. The fancy term for this is detached growth, and it's a huge part of what scientists call containerless processing. By just letting the crystal form while it's floating freely, you get rid of the number one source of impurities, the container. It's kind of like the ultimate clean room.
So this all sounds great as a science experiment, but how do you turn it into a real commercial business? Well, it's already happening. This isn't just a NASA research project anymore.
Private companies are jumping into the game. You have Axiom Space, which is already building parts of the ISS, and Varda Space Industries, which makes these cool autonomous capsules that can come back to Earth. They are building platforms specifically to turn this science into a business. They are betting on a future where made in space is the ultimate stamp of quality.
And the people running these companies, they are all in, like this quote from Varda's chief revenue officer. He calls their vehicle the missing link that finally connects single experiments to actual large-scale production. They really believe they're building the factories of tomorrow, in orbit. Okay, but all of this leads to a giant, multi-billion-dollar question. It sounds amazing, for sure, but can it ever actually make money? What is the real price tag on this kind of perfection?
$3,000. Let that sink in for a second. Right now, that's roughly the cost to launch 1 single kilogram of anything into low Earth orbit. To give you some context, one of those silicon wafers weighs maybe 100, 150 grams, so the cost just to get it up there is, it's absolutely astronomical.
So here's the real tension, the heart of the whole issue. On one hand, you have this incredible promise of materials that could totally unlock the next generation of computing for things like AI, defense, you name it. But on the other hand, you have costs that are so incredibly high they might just cancel out all the benefits. And that's where we are today, to be honest. For most things, chip makers on Earth have got it down to a science. They're pretty happy with the balance they've struck between quality and cost. Decades of work have made manufacturing on the ground incredibly efficient. So for right now, space manufacturing is a bit of a solution looking for a problem that's expensive enough to justify it.
But, and this is a big but, it's so important to remember, this is bigger than just computer chips. These same principles, growing purer crystals and better structures, they also apply to other super high-value industries. We're talking pharmaceuticals, advanced biotech, even 3D printing complex things like artificial organs. This is really about creating a whole new industrial park in orbit.
And that really brings us to the final big question. As the cost to get to space keeps coming down, will this stuff remain a super specialized luxury for only the most high-tech applications? Or are we right now watching the very beginning of a new orbital economy that will one day create the essential building blocks for our future? That is the question we'll all be watching. Thanks for tuning in.